হ্যাঁ আপা, আমরা এখন শুরু করতে পারি।
Respected teachers and learned audience, a very good morning to one and all. I'm Smita Karungo. Welcome you all to the clinical class for post-graduation students of MD Cardiology. Today, we have two great teachers with us as in-house examiner, Dr. Dhiman Bonik, Associate Professor and Senior Consultant of Cardiology Department, and Dr. Mohammad Kabir Zaman, Associate Professor and Senior Consultant of Cardiology Department from our hospital. We have been conducting these classes for the students to get more prepared for the exam. So without further ado, I would like to request our in-house examiners, Dr. Dhiman Bonik and Dr. Mohammad Kabir Zaman. Please, sir, do start the class and session.
Good morning. Welcome to the our postgraduate class for students. We have been asked one of our students to examine the general examination. He has performed the general examination. I have some query to him. Smita, please give him the mic.
Yes,
Mahmoud, did you see the anemia?
Yes, sir.
Jaundice?
Yes, sir.
You've seen it.
Yes,
Okay,
sir,
what
I've
are
seen
your positive findings?
My patient appearance normal, body build is below average. Patient is cooperative and decubitus on choice. Patient is ecteric, and there is patient no anemia, cyanosis, cholinergia, no lymphadenopathy, no thyromegaly, and there is his fast blood pressure is 140 over 40 millimeter of mercury. Pulse is 68 millimeter of 68 beats per minute, regular, high volume. JPP is respiratory rate is 24 breaths per minute. Temperature is normal. JPP is not raised, and skin condition is normal.
What findings are positive for reaching to diagnosis?
Is ecteric.
Ecteric.
Positive patient is ecteric.
Ecteric, yes.
And sir, blood pressure is 140 over 40 millimeter of mercury. There is high pulse pressure, and pulse volume is high pulse volume.
Did you see the collapsing pulse in this patient? High pulse and with high pulse pressure. Did you see the collapsing pulse of this patient?
No, sir.
Did you think that it is mandatory?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how will you explain the ecteric in this patient? You have said that this patient is ecteric. Can you explain somehow or other the ecteric in this patient?
Actually, what is the ideal light to comment about the jaundice or ecteria?
Actually,
What is the ideal light?
Daylight is the ideal.
Yes.
To see the jaundice.
And this light may confuse you.
Yes, sir.
One thing. So don't dig your own death hole. If you feel that there is some findings is confusing to you, don't mention it. What is your impression? That may be your diagnosis from general examination. What is your impression? You are talking about the high volume pulse.
Yes, sir.
Or large. Scientific term is large volume pulse. Okay. Then what is your impression? What could be your possible diagnosis?
So this type of findings are more favor of aortic regurgitation.
But the pathology that cause an hyperdynamic circulation, that may be aortic regurgitation, that may be PDA, that may be ruptured sinus observer. Okay, you should proceed in that way. Do you think that aortic regurgitation patient do have any icteria? Any normal sequelae? No. So why do you mention it? One thing, when you are examining the patient, you are looking for the wall clock. Why? You should be meticulous. You should have a wristwatch.
Yes, sir.
While you are examining like this. With two examiners standing there, so your position should be like this, like this. Okay, and your watch should be this, and you have to turn your clothes so that examiner can understand that you are timing the pulse. Your body, your choreograph, in other things, body language will tell the examiner that you are doing the exact thing. Another things, whenever you have mentioned the pulse, what are the terms you have used to describe the pulse? You have not mentioned the radiofemoral delay. You have not mentioned the symmetry of the pulse. And you have examined the pulse like this. You have to keep the arms like this, then. Okay. And whenever you have examined the neck, these clothes was like this. How can you observe the pulsation of the neck? But I was looking for you, whether you have an attention to this pulsation. These are the pitfalls. You have to correct it. Don't give any scope to hassle you. Don't invite any confusing question or complicated question. Another things, first you have to describe the positive findings.
I already asked you, what are the positive findings in generalization?
But you started with negative findings.
All negative findings, this is a time loss for you. And these things, because general examination is a gross examination. In short case, one general examination will be given to you.
Okay.
And regarding the BP, I already in this class, we have already talked about that. As there is you should mention the fifth Karatkov sound. Is 40 is the last sound, it does not reappear again, or it is muffled sound or absent sound. Muffled sound, then absent sound is
Near about 20 or below that.
you must mention it. We had already cleared it in this class with Meshka sir, with Madam. Madam was there. I remember Madam was there in this class, and already in another webinar, Professor Wadud also clarified it. That in aortic, if you thought that it is a case of aortic regurgitation, these things cannot be regularly mistaken. You should be mentioned 140 by 40 hyphen 2010 0 as usually what findings you are getting. So these things are very much gross, I think so.
And these are important to assess the severity of the lesion. Mind it.
In bedside.
Another thing, there are some examiners, they mind with narrow pass or high pass volume. They like the large volume, small volume. Actually, you should read the methods. They are written that large volume pass, small volume pass. Okay. So you have to keep it in your mind.
I think another student should come and for the examination. Dr. Nurul, come forward. And you should perform the precordium.
examine the precordium of this patient.
আমার মনে হয় যে টাইম অ্যালোকেশনটা আমাদের প্র্যাকটিস করা উচিত, বলে দিবেন 5 মিনিট।
3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes crossing. 3 minutes examination, 3 minutes crossing. 3টা করলে তো 15 মিনিট, তোমার 20 মিনিট শর্টকেট। I have a question to you. Describe the inspection of this patient.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Nurul Islam, MD final part student, examinee July 2021. On inspection, there is a diffuse suprasternal pulsation, and there's also diffuse visible cardiac impulse over the precordium, and no other deformity, no other scar mark visible.
Diffuse suprasternal suprasternal pulsation, how it will explain? What are the causes?
It may be dancing carotid or Cohen sign.
Yes, it is. I think so. It is obvious. So can you? We can focus the camera here to see all the participants present, or can it be because it is a, I think so, almost a classical dancing carotid. It is a classical dancing carotid pulsation, Corrigan sign. Thank you. This patient has dancing carotid. It is the suprasternal pulsation. You should mention that most likely it is due to dancing carotid. What are the other causes of suprasternal pulsation?
Any hyperdynamic circulation.
Any hypertension, any lean and thin person.
State
In like
etiology for hyperdynamic circulation.
shunt anomaly like PDA, then physiological thyrotoxicosis, pregnancy, and other arteriovenous shunt, severe anemia.
Okay, your etiology is okay, but do you think that you have mentioned one thing first, shunt anomaly? At this age, with shunt anomaly, dancing carotid, is it possible to survive?
No, sir.
Then why do you mention it first?
Sorry, sir.
What should be the possible etiological factor at this age?
The severe MR.
Severe?
Severe MR.
Loud.
Severe MR.
MR.
Hmm.
Does MR cause any hyperdynamic circulation in the heart? No. It
Sorry,
may
sir.
be the apical region. Think easy. First, you have to mention the aortic regurgitation. That is possible in that age to survive and to carry this lesion up to this age. Okay. Next. Next, other possibles are very rare. For cardiac cause, yes, it could be thyrotoxicosis, it could be anemia, but other things like the PDA, ruptured sinus of valsalva, yeah, like things are that's not possible at that age. One thing that now you mentioned about the positive precordial findings. You have examined the positive findings.
Precordial examination of my patients reveals apex bead located left fifth intercostal space just over the mid-clavicular line, which is forceful and ill-sustained. Normal first heart sound is normally audible. There is a click sound in the aortic component of the second heart sound, and there is a harsh ejection systolic murmur heard all over the precordium, best heard in the right second intercostal space that radiate to the both carotids, best heard in leaning forward breath hold after expiration. And there is also an early diastolic murmur in the left parasternal area, which is best heard in leaning forward, and grading of the murmur is 3/6. Base of the lung are clear. No other added sound.
Okay, you have listened the harsh systolic murmur all over the precordium that radiate towards the both carotids. And another things is early diastolic murmur. And what is the what you want to mean about regarding the click? Because your description dictating me that you are going to describe a mixed lesion.
Yes.
Mixed lesion of aortic valve from your description. Mixed lesion of the aortic valve, there must be a pathological deformation of the aortic valve.
Yes.
And pathological deformation of the aortic valve is not suitable to create any clicks. Okay, it is the pure aortic stenosis with pliable valve, bicuspid valve that may create some clicks. Okay. This is another pitfall in your description. So what is your DD? You have mentioned it.
I haven't mentioned it.
Correct your answer. What should be the first diagnosis?
Aortic stenosis with aortic regurgitation.
Which one is which one is predominant?
In this patient, which one is predominant?
Predominant.
To comment about predominance, I need to see the relevance like blood pressure, pulse, and
Okay, you have mentioned about the location of the apex beat. What does it mean? Is it displaced or is it normal?
normally placed.
Huh?
Normally placed.
Again, describe your apex.
Apex beat located in the left fifth intercostal space, just medial to the midclavicular line, which is forceful and ill-sustained.
Okay, you are then talking about then yes, if your findings is apex is not shifted, there is predominant systolic murmur, then predominant lesion is the aortic stenosis. If the apex were shifted outward, then what could be the first diagnosis?
Aortic regurgitation.
Aortic. Do you think that in aortic stenosis, predominant stenosis, is it possible to create such an beautiful Codigan pulse or a suprasternal pulsation?
It is better seen in aortic regurgitation, severe aortic regurgitation.
Okay. So
I
actually checked for the apex, but I could not appreciate apex lateral to the midclavicular line or in the sixth space.
What's systolic murmur grading?
3/6.
3/6.
No
Radiation
towards both carotids.
in the both carotid, is it equal?
Yes.
Is it equal?
Yes.
No, it is not equal. I have seen it. In the left side, it is almost negative, and in the right side, it is present, and it is
soft in nature.
soft in nature,
It's
not
not
harsh.
harsh.
Because in case of aortic stenosis, dominant aortic stenosis, if you mention the click, then you should you confess that there is there is significant aortic stenosis, which is pathological, and there is in addition air. But if he does not, this is a technique in your exam. If you does not mention the click, then you have a possibility to say it functional aortic stenosis. Because in aortic regurgitation, there is functional aortic stenosis, and this patient has functional aortic stenosis. Because the radiation is not so much prominent to the neck, and in both neck it is different, and there the murmur in the aortic area is not so harsh; it is soft in nature.
So for my learning purpose, this second aortic component of the second sound is unusually loud, and I am a bit confused regarding whether it is a click or a for
Aortic
my
component.
learning purpose, not for exam. I'm just asking the question whether it could be a click or not.
One tips I want to teach you: whenever you construct a diagnosis in your mind, say you want to say the aortic stenosis, then you cannot describe whatever your ear hears. You cannot describe that second component is loud. This is the tip. Hemodynamically, it is not. This not should. It's a personal perception. So if your diagnosis is aortic stenosis, don't mention about that it is loud. Then it will sing. Okay. There are some. Whenever you are describe any pathology, you try to construct your findings in that in the favor of your diagnosis. Don't contradict your diagnosis. Whatever your ear or whatever your impression creates the real scenario. Okay. Then
we have an important clue that this patient has a blood pressure of 140 by 40/20. Then is this possible in severe aortic stenosis? You have the
Like
examination of this patient. So you should keep in your mind that, and click is an important sound to get. You cannot miss it, it will overdiagnose you. It is very important in case of aortic valve disease, for saying aortic stenosis, pure aortic, but pathological aortic stenosis. So we cannot confuse, confess state.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr.
It's not
Nurul.
qualifying
I
exam.
think
Whatever you
we
have
are
to
done
done,
with our
it's
first patient,
not satisfactory. Mind
and now we are moving to our next patient and
you are
new
to
case.
construct your reasons.
Yes.
Reasons.
Because aortic stenosis and aortic regurgitation. Today, I was not asking them, our registers, to bring this aortic stenosis and aortic regurgitation, because aortic regurgitation is many times discussed. But they said that this is a common case, so let them try, because it should be done absolutely correct. Because this patient in any hospital, this patient will go to the exam hall. In any hospital, this patient will go to the exam hall. Okay, next one.
Please come forward. Dr. Asif, please come forward and examine the patient. And sir, what will he examine?
Describe your findings, precordial findings.
I had asked to auscultate the precordium, sir.
Okay.
Sir. So on auscultation of the precordium of my patient released, the first and second heart sound is normal, and there is a harsh pansystolic murmur that is hard all over the precordium, but it is best heard in the left parasternal region, and there is no specific radiation to the neck, and no other added sound, and lung bases are clear, sir.
Fine description. Then what is your impression regarding this, your auscultatory findings?
Sir,
Possible diagnosis.
sir, I have some differential diagnosis.
Okay.
My first differential
জোরে বলো, জোরে বলো।
So I have some differential diagnosis for my findings. My first differential is it can be a case of ventricular septal defect. I have another differential, sir. It can be a case of tricuspid regurgitation, and other possibilities may also persist, like mitral regurgitation.
Then you tell me why it is not aortic stenosis.
In case
You are not mentioning the DD of aortic stenosis. But regarding the VSD, aortic stenosis is an important differential diagnosis.
Yes, sir.
Why not it is aortic stenosis?
So in case of aortic stenosis, the murmur is usually ejection systolic and best heart in the aortic area, which radiates to the necks.
Okay.
But
These are
Murmur is
pansystolic, sir.
pansystolic.
Pansystolic. And
okay, that I accept.
And-
So you have to mention like this.
Right.
There is your first description was excellent. Fine. Then whenever you uttered the differential diagnosis and you have to ask about the to differentiate the things, then the murmur in favor of aortic stenosis, it is systolic, but it is not ejection systolic, and it does not radiate towards the carotid areas, neck, towards the neck. Then second is the tricuspid stenosis. The it is regurgitation, sorry, tricuspid regurgitation. It is systolic, but it does not radiate. It does not best heart along the right parasternal area, lower parasternal area. Okay, it is not my. It is in. It is
Inspiration.
less likely to be mitral regurgitation because this murmur does not radiate towards the axilla, or not best heard in the apical area. Your answer should be like this. Okay, then your diagnosis is
Can it be PDA?
Sir, less likely, sir.
Why?
Because in case of PTA, so the murmur would be best heard in the left subclavicular
no.
region.
First, you are to mention about the nature of the
That's
murmur.
the murmur.
What is the
Sir,
classical?
in case of
murmur of-
PTA, that would be the that would be continuous murmur, sir.
Yes.
But I found it pansystolic, so less likely to be PTA. Sir.
Does in case of PDA, systolic murmur can happen?
Yes, sir.
When? In this age, around 20 plus age, adult patient, can a PDA may present with a systolic murmur in the
Yes, sir.
pulmonary area?
Sir, if there is pulmonary hypertension and reversal of the shunt, in that case, the murmur may change.
Yes, there the systolic murmur can happen. In PDA, pansystolic and systolic murmur can happen, and you should have the explanation. What is the pulmonary component of the second heart sound? Did you mention?
Sir, it seemed to be loud, but I was not confident enough to describe it. Seemed
Then
to be.
if we are not confident enough to explain the second heart sound, pulmonary component second heart sound, then why not this is the case of pulmonary stenosis?
Sir, in case of pulmonary stenosis, the murmur would be localized in the pulmonary area, and the pulmonary component of the second sound would be soft.
Soft.
Sir.
So you have mentioned that you have the pulmonary component of the second heart sound is not
Normal, sir.
well normal, and in this age with a patient with a suspected VSD, can pulmonary P2 can be normal?
Less likely, sir. There may be possibility of pulmonary hypertension, sir, along with case disorder.
Less likely. Okay.
Usually, sir, best start in the pulmonary area, sir.
স্টুডেন্ট মনে হয় না আব্দুল্লাহ সারিয়ার কি স্যার নাকি আব্দুল্লাহ সারিয়ার স্যার না
I will explain the MR in this patient.
As a differential of pansystolic murmur, I said MR, but less likely because the first heart sound is normal. Second, in case of MR, it would be best start in the mitral area and it would be radiate to the axilla, sir.
Other cause? Can it be MR? MR with pulmonary hypertension or MR with normal pulmonary pressure? Can it be?
Yes, sir. There is possibility in case of sir, in case of mitral valve prolapse, the first heart sound may be normal, sir.
Eh?
If the MR is due to mitral valve prolapse, in that case, the first heart sound may be normal. And
Normal
no,
prolapse,
no, no, no,
which
no.
reflex?
In case of MR, first heart sound will never be normal.
This is an
Will never be normal. Don't mention this. Wait, keep your tongue tight. Okay.
how will you explain this? How will you explain this MR in the murmur is in the third intercostal space or fourth intercostal space in the left side?
Yes, sir.
How will you explain the MR in this patient? When a murmur of MR is present in the third or fourth intercostal space, this is a very important question. In a specific type of MR, the murmur will be present in the third or fourth left intercostal space. Pansystolic murmur. When?
Sir, in case of mitral valve prolapse, when the prolapse involve the anterolateral, then the murmur may radiate to the base, sir.
Lateral or other?
Sir,
What is anterolateral?
What is
no,
anterolateral?
sir,
Anterolateral is
sorry,
the
sir.
commissure.
No, sir.
Anterolateral
No,
and
sir.
posterior are the two commissure.
No, sir.
Eh,
Leaflet, sir. Sorry, sir.
Leaflets
Which
anterior and
leaflet?
posterior leaflet.
Anterior and
And
posterior
contour,
leaflet.
Which one?
Sir, in
This
case of
is a very gross
posterior leaflet
question
prolapse,
asked
the
in the
murmur may
exam.
radiate to
Huh? Which leaflet?
the post.
Huh?
Posterior mitral leaflet, sir.
Don't be confused. Be smart in speaking this. Be
Yes, sir.
smart.
In case of rupture of the posterior mitral leaflet, in case of MR, when the posterior leaflet is ruptured, then the pansystolic murmur of MR can be heard in the third and fourth intercostal space. This thing should be clear. So a BSD murmur is always should be differentiated from a murmur of MR, and it will be radiated in the axilla as well. So no radiation, then it most likely, sir, it is most likely BSD.
Another thing, do you think that with BSD, there could be a murmur that may confuse it with MR, mitral regurgitation? Is there is possibility to exist as a BSD and MR?
Yes, sir.
When?
Sir, when the in case of annular dilatation, sir, when
Mhm.
the LV is enlarged, the mitral annular dilatation may produce mitral regurgitation, sir.
Actually, you should mention that when there will be large shunt,
Yes, sir.
that BSD, what it creates, it dilates the LA and LV. So there may be functional murmur due to dilatation of the left side of the heart, both LA and LV. That is a possibility. Okay, you have mentioned about the character of the murmur. What is the character of the murmur?
Harsh pansystolic
Okay.
murmur, sir.
Then what is the clinical sense you have there? In this age? What could be the size of the BSD?
As I mentioned, the murmur is harsh. It could be, sir, small restrictive type of PhD, sir.
Yes, small restrictive. Is there any, whenever you are to investigate, what is the mention one investigating tools? One, to diagnose the case.
One.
One.
One investigation in this patient for diagnosis the patient.
I'll perform the echocardiography with
2D echocardiography.
no, sir. Echocardiography with all the modalities,
All the model list.
Inclu-
Tissue
including-
Doppler study.
including 2D M mode and color Doppler.
Color Doppler. You should
Yes, sir.
mention it. No, in the exam you must be precise. There is many modes of echocardiography. Can transesophageal echo will done this patient? No. You should say that 2D M mode and color Doppler.
What are the findings you expect from echocardiography that you have to search for? What are the findings, measurement you have to take it?
First of all, I need to find out the echo dropout or defect. Then it is location, the size. Then, sir, size. I'll check the flow through the shunt. Then the, sir, other associated anomalies, abnormalities, and the, sir,
Okay,
pulmonary-
then what are the other associated anomalies you have to look for in this in the setup of BSD?
So in case of VSD, I will check whether there is any other valvular abnormality like aortic regurgitation, any ASD, coarctation of the aorta,
to survive the BSD patient to the adult life, alone BSD, no other pathology. What is the first mandatory body reactive or a body reparative process that can protect him? It is the RBOT band. I'm telling you, it is the RBOT band.
For the
That-
students, for the students, this question is very important. What are the anomalies present in case of BSD? Important anomaly is missed. Kovic sir has been explained. You have given 3 answers. You have given ASD. No, BSD is not all commonly associated with ASD. How many patients did you see with ASD? Then you have seen the coaptation. How many patients with BSD you have seen with coaptation? Next, you have said that aortic regurgitation. In how many patients with BSD? In a specific variety of BSD, when there is a associated posterior lifted
Now, there
prolapse,
is prolapse of the RCC.
RCC.
That is also, and there is a protective
Yes, sir.
What is the common association with case of BSD?
common.
You must. If you can't answer, the examiner will be annoyed with you in the exam hall. In all the congenital anomalies, there is a common question that what is the next common anomaly you will search in this place.
In that case, sir, RBT obstruction like pulmonary stenosis.
Yes. In case of BSD, common association is RBT. What is the common association with ASD?
Sir, in case of
In case of ASD, what is the common association?
the mitral prolapse,
Yes, it is the mitral.
Then other associations that I'm telling you is in case of bicuspid aortic valve, what is the common association you have to search for?
in the bicuspid, sir, coarctation of the aorta and aortopathy, sir.
So first you have to tell about the PDA, then coagulation. Wherever there is PDA, you have to look for bicuspid. The things is like so. Another thing, what I want to tell you, that whenever you examine something, as for example, someone was uttering about the click. If you think that during a description, the examiner is trying to want to know establish the click, then you have to say, sir, I was confused about this. Because murmur may confuse you, everybody. So, first of all, you have to construct your findings in favor of your diagnosis, first differential diagnosis. In telling so, if the examiner tell another thing, if you can understand but mentioned it, you would tell this, just I was confused about this. That will save you. But don't commit any wrong term or wrong finding. Huh? Okay.
Wrong finding is always like negative one. It is always wrong. You don't think that
Very
you
well.
are thinking that it is an and you do not know the finding of it. You do not get the finding of it. You don't even get the finding of it. So, if there is pure one, we should say pure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Asif. So we are done with our case presentation. Now we are moving to our next session, that's the auspice session, and start with the instrument. Here is the first instrument. I think Dr. Faisal, please come forward and tell us what is it, name of the instrument, parts and uses.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Hello. Assalamu alaikum, sir. I'm Dr. Faisal. This is a hemostatic device known as Y connector with a short connecting tube.
Yes, yes. It's a part of the A Y
It
connector.
has a distal part rotator which is attached with the PTCA guide catheter, and it has proximally it has two
So
end.
which part is PTCA guide catheter? Distal part. In the distal part, there is a
rotator.
yes, there is a rotator for attaching with the catheter.
guiding catheter.
guiding catheter. Yes, good.
And proximally it has two end. One is side channel which is attached with the short connected tube. It is attached with the plastic manifold.
Yes.
Manifold, this
Yes.
connected.
The connection with the plastic manifold. And another and the distal part.
Another proximally another has is attached with a
PTC needle for a
introduction of the PCA guide wire.
guide wire. And this part is something different. How will you explain this?
This part has a regulated valve.
Valve. Yes, good. Very good. Regulated valve. And this valve is one way valve. For when you press the valve upward, then the blood is coming out from it. So this purpose is due to
Prevent
blood flow of the catheter and to free the air from the catheter. Yes. And if you clockwise rotate it, then the valve will be closed. Nothing will be entered through it. And if you anti-clockwise rotate it, you can clockwise, then you can introduce needle. What things are introduced in this way? PTCA needle. Wire. Then you fix the wire. Then through the wire we pass balloon, stand, you can everything. So now you say what are the functions of this?
It is usually accessory device. To prevent the black of the blood. You can also monitor the pressure through this channel. You can introduce the contrast material.
So
Okay,
This
this is
is
the
the-
important instrument given in the exam, and in this instrument, when you give this instrument, other things will come. Then other things important are the guide wire and PDC wire. Okay, next.
next ECG, Dr. Harun.
Harun.
Dr. Harun, please come forward and describe the ECG.
Everyone can see it. You can come closer. You can come closer. Very important ECG for exam. In OSPI, in table. You sit down or you can. Very important ECG.
Assalamu alaikum.
জোরে বলো অন করো জোরে বলো হ্যাঁ বলো বলো
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Harun, PhD
হ্যাঁ,
student.
দিও না ইন্ডিকেটর দিও না দরকার নেই বলো
This is the 12 blade standard surface ECG showing patient is in sinus rhythm. Heart rate is almost 75 beats per minute. RR interval is regular, and QRS complex is amplitude is increased in B1 to B6 with T inversion, and QRS complex is also wide. Uh,
In V1, what is the pattern?
RSR
RSR. Then what is the RSR pattern in V1?
in B1 and D pass in the 1 AVL, B5, B6,
Then what is it?
RBBB.
RVV. Yes, RVV. Next,
Next, sir, there is also right RV enlargement.
how you say right? RV enlargement.
Sir, in B1 there is more than 7 millimeters.
More than 7 millimeters. Then
And
in presence of RVV, what other things is needed to say RV enlargement?
in case of
In a patient is only RVV more than 7, 10, 20. Without another finding, you cannot say RV enlargement. What is this finding?
sir, B1 QRS 11 more than 11.
In V1,
11
there is
small
more than
square.
11.
More than
But
11 is
Other finding, what are the other finding needed to say RV enlargement? What is
right
this?
axis,
Yes.
right axis division.
Without right axis deviation, in presence of RVV, you cannot say the RV enlargement or RV hypertrophy. You cannot say. Okay. There is presence of right axis deviation. You see, there is in 2-3 AVF, there is taller, smallest. And in case of 1 AVL, there is deepest,
Deepest.
smaller. So there is RVVV with right axis deviation. Then you can say then there is right ventricular hypertrophy or right ventricular enlargement. Most likely it is right ventricular hypertrophy as because there are deep T inversion
15 version.
and taller more than 11 millimeters.
11.
Next, other finding is present in this ECG. More finding. Say,
Sir,
you see in which lead we see the P wave.
here lead B1 and lead 2.
You see the P wave in V1 and
There is also RA enlargement.
R enlargement. How can you say it?
Sir, in lead 2, there
Yes,
is
very nice. It is more than 12 millimeters.
12 millimeters.
It is more almost 16.
Yes, sir.
So RA enlargement. And in V1, if a patient has an RA enlargement, in
There's a
V1,
initial
there is a P spike
spike, yes.
and there is also a down spike.
down spike.
Then
Also L.
Now, what is the term you have to use this type of morphology of P?
P.
Biphasic.
Biphase. Yes, this is the
This
scientific
is
term.
the biphasic P wave in V1. And this is supported by, you can see, you should have these eyes to say in the postgraduate exam. In lead 1, you see the P wave. What is
This is a double peak.
double peak? So you must mention it. There's a double peak P wave. And this is the supporting of the LA enlargement.
LA.
So this patient has got right axis RVV with right axis deviation with biatrial enlargement. What is the clinical scenario of this patient? What is the clinical scenario of this? In the exam, next question will be asked to giving this easy in the hospital. What is the clinical scenario of this patient? Etiologic biatrial enlargement with RVH. Features of RVH. ASD, how will you explain a left atrial enlargement in case of ASD? Can you explain it? There is a common disease
Sir,
in cardiology
restrictive
which can be explained by this disease.
cardiomyopathy.
Restrictive cardiomyopathy?
No, sir. So common.
I have told you there is a very common disease, very common rheumatic heart disease that can be explained by this disease. How?
MS with pulmonary.
Yeah. MS with mitral stenosis with yes. This is this should be uttered first. This patient has MS, mitral stenosis with pulmonary hypertension.
Pulmonary hypertension, severe pulmonary hypertension.
Severe pulmonary hypertension.
Severe.
Because the right atrial severe tear is there, so right atrial enlargement. And in case of ASD, if you utter, next day, if you have uttered the ASD, how will you explain it? In ASD it can be explained. How?
ASD, mitral stenosis.
Not ASD, ASD with mitral valve prolapse causing severe MR or moderate MR. Then LA will be enlarged.
Next,
Okay, next. X.
Hey, Maliha, Maliha.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, sir. This is X-ray chest PA view showing enlarged cardiac shadow in the transverse diameter, which is pear-shaped. So the lung fields are oligamic. So the costophrenic angles are normal. So bony shadows normal.
What is your diagnosis?
So from this chest X-ray, the most likely diagnosis is the pericardial effusion.
Pericardial effusion. What is the important differentials of this ECG, of this X-ray?
Sir, the differentials could be, sir, mixed valvular disease.
Mixed valvular disease.
Sir,
Why it is now? In case of mixed valvular disease,
oligamic.
oligamic. In case of mixed valvular disease, where will be the pulmonary artery? There is pulmonary
Yes, sir.
conus is almost normal.
Normal, sir. Sir, cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy. In cardiomyopathy, there will also there will be pulmonary hypertension will be there. Next important differential. In favor of pericardial effusion, how will you explain this? You should mention there the border of the heart.
Yes,
Pencil,
yes, very important.
Almost clean cut
Clean
margin
cut.
of the right
Pencil
border,
line. Okay,
and
sir.
there is also clean cut margin of the left border.
sir.
In the except in the lower part.
Yes, sir.
In other part, it is clean cut. It's known as penciling of the right and left heart border. So cancel code.
Then
Then other important differential, not there is multiple arteries should be in the lower differential. There is an important next shunt anomaly.
what are the findings in favor of shunt anomaly? One is cardiac enlargement. Okay. Then other? You have mentioned that lung field is oligamic. What will be the scenario of the shunt anomaly of the lung fields? Usually it is plethoric. Huh? There is increased blood flow. There may be oligamic lung field in case of shunt anomaly. When? One typical answer is a pulmonary stenosis. Sorry, tough. Because pulmonary stenosis is not an shunt anomaly, it's valvular pathology, though congenital. Huh? Another thing is a severe pulmonary hypertension, but that appearance will be pruned, and there will not be such a gross enlargement of the heart. Okay, that is this.
There is an important differential of this F10. Why? Give the microphone to them. Why?
Yes.
Why? Why? Why?
Sir, number one, sir, cardiac shadow is hugely enlarged, sir.
Hugely
Large,
enlarged.
sir.
Next,
sir.
in F10, which chamber will be hugely enlarged?
Sir, right atrium, sir.
Is there any feature of right atrial enlargement here? In our clinical class, we have explained you when you say there is right atrial enlargement. Very simple, and you should know it. and this finding is present in this patient. How will you say the patient has right atrial enlargement?
So it seems like
No,
double.
double border is for the left. This is for the right. This border is for the right. Double border is for the left. What we had teach you, you draw a in this X-ray is almost position is normal. Okay, as because the trachea is almost in the center. Okay, you draw a line in the midline, and from the midline you draw a vertical line to the highest convexity of the right. It is normally it is 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter. Normally it is 5 centimeter from the midline. And if up to 7, it can be normal. But more than 7, you should say there is right atrial enlargement. You see, if you draw a midline from there and the highest convexity it is, and if you draw a perpendicular line, then it will be more than 7. And it might be a feature of right atrial enlargement. So in case that in right atrial, in Epstein anomaly, there is also some pruning of the pulmonary arteries. So there might be so important differentials of this is pericardial effusion. Next is Epstein anomaly.
Actually, Epstein anomaly, what is the main hemodynamic problem with the Epstein anomaly? Huh? Downward displace. What is the pathology of the Epstein anomaly? Okay, why? How it happens? You are gossiping, just gazing, sir. You are talking with your gazing, sir. It is the displacement of the septal leaflet. Commonly, next common is septal and posterior leaflet. Very rarely, all 3 leaflets can displace towards the apex. That makes the atrialization, and that makes an incompetent tricuspid valve. That incompetent tricuspid valve have an diminished forward flow. So there will be very grossly enlarged RA, but pulmonary artery will be smaller. We mention it. The pulmonary artery appears smaller than expected size of the body and size of the patient because of poor circulation. So there is some oligemia of the lung fields due to incompetent tricuspid valve. And whenever in your practical life, if you say RA is dilated, you are confusing with ASD, just look for pulmonary artery. If pulmonary is enlarged, then you think that there is associated ASD. If pulmonary is smaller than expectation, then you can say this pure Epstein anomaly. Okay. Actually, whenever there is ASD, there will be some left-right shunt. That will increase the shunt. But provided if there is severe tricuspid regurgitation, then you will not get this scenario. The very typical, very common in your exam.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Nurul Islam. I am the final part student. Exam in July 2021. In the upper left panel, this is a parasternal long axis.
You take the marker and describe it.
In the upper left panel, the parasternal long axis view showing there is a large echogenic structure in the left atrium, which is almost rounded and attached to it septum. And upper right panel, it is apical 4-chamber view showing same echogenic structure over the left, over the mitral valve, and it's attached to the septum. And lower left panel, apical 4-chamber view with color flow showing the regurgitant jet to the left atrium, and with that same echogenic structure. And lower right panel, This is also peristernal long axis view. In it's showing that's a echogenic structure protruding through the mitral valve towards the left ventricle.
Then you tell me what is the probable diagnosis?
Probably LA myxoma.
The LA myxoma. Okay, probably. You are talking about probably. First diagnosis LA myxoma. Next diagnosis
L thrombus, organized
LA.
thrombus.
Organized thrombus. Next,
Any vegetation of
okay, vegetation is not will be so much so bad. Okay, then you are talking about the thrombus. What are the point in disfavor of thrombus?
this LA size is almost normal, and mitral valve also this cusp looks thickened, but other cusp is normal and no no obvious features of rheumatic heart disease.
There is no obvious, no, or yes, there is no features of mitral stenosis or any condition that cause stasis with the left atrium. What inside what precipitate the thrombus? It is the stasis in the left atrium. Is there any pathology that hints your mind that there could be stasis? No. Mitral valve is opening very well. Okay, there is one. So your first is myxoma. You have talked about that this is the attached to the septum. Where is the septum in this view? There is
From
no
the-
septum in
From
this
the
view.
upper
You
second.
should describe in this view
Yes,
that there is a, this is the, what is the name of this view?
the aortic
Okay, right. In systole or diastole?
in diastole.
Okay, why diastole?
Mitral valve is open.
Open, okay. It is attached to the
Septum.
interatrial
Inter-
septum. Okay. Then here is another pathology you have talked about. What is this?
The regurgitant jet through the mitral valve.
What is the
towards-
pathology? How can we explain this regurgitant jet in the setup of myxoma?
it that
Hmm?
it obstructing the closure, effective closure of the
It is the obstruction. It's not obstructing. It is the systole. He is completely residing in the totally left atrium, but there is regurgitation. Actually, whenever there is myxoma, it causes a dancing movement to and fro. It enters into the mitral valve during diastole and back into the LA during systole. In doing so, it causes some damage to the mitral valve. And that damage is the creating some MR. And you can see there is a prolapse. Both the valves are above the mitral leaflet annulus. You can see this is the mitral annulus. Huh? It is not towards the LA. There is no features of prolapse. So there is some central non-cooperation due to injury induced by the left atrial myxoma. Another important findings here. What can you expect from this? It is obstructing the mitral valve. Huh? So what hemodynamics you can expect from this? LA myxoma?
it may produce the features like mitral stenosis, low cardiac output.
Yes. No, you have to mitral stenosis, not like mitral stenosis. Whenever you have to utter the stenosis, it's an inflow obstruction.
Inflow.
The scientific term is inflow obstruction. And whenever there will be severe inflow obstruction, that will create a pulmonary hypertension. And this should be excised very rapidly or as soon as possible. Okay.
So thank you all. We want to conclude this session. Our concluded remarks will be presented, will be delivered by Dr. Kobiruzzaman sir. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you all for a nice arrangement, Dr. Smita, Kolim, and Shamim. And I have some suggestion to the students that it is not only the class. You have to discuss with each other. You have to present your case and findings with in front of your colleagues. During my studentship, I have to done it. I have to examine a patient and I have to describe it to my fellow colleague. And he is to criticize me. that these are the faults, you have to describe in that way, these are the lacking point. Then I again rehearsal it. So these are the ways that you can make you perfect. Except one, he have described his clinical findings nicely. Others are described their clinical findings in very poor fashion. It's not up to the mark to pass the exam. So be careful and try to describe your findings in favor of your impression of diagnosis, first diagnosis. Don't commit the wrong findings. Don't contradict your first diagnosis. Okay, that's all. And now Diwan Banik will say something. So it is today. Thanks all. Be safe. Huh?
Thank you.
I'm concluding the session.
Thank you. So we are concluding the session. Thank you to our two great teachers and thank you, students. It was a great learning today. Thank you all.